You gonna take it? Because I would write it down. I was. Okay. So you were 6.
Don't take a picture.
No, I know.
He's taping the voice just so we can hear it. 6. You were 6 years old when y'all moved to Forest Hills. And you had a dog.
Had a child.
Which
Name.
doesn't mean
And we climbed.
Mean dog.
Mean dog. We climbed every tree. We had bicycles and rode up and down those hills.
How many houses were in? I mean, was it really like when we moved into Catherwood that we could just go anywhere we wanted to?
Yeah. The top part of Forest Hills was developed where the Walkers were a little bit more. But they developed Forest Hills, you know.
Really?
The
Okay.
Walker family.
And you went to Hand
Went
Middle
to
School.
Snyder, Hand, and Dress.
Snyder is a horrible name.
Honey?
It was somebody's name.
And it was a family thing.
It's sad.
All right.
He
So
married
that off.
Sam.
I'm just recording the audio. So then what?
Then what?
Right,
Well,
so
just-
then you went to Dreer.
Yeah, went to Snyder Grammar School, and I was always, a tomboy. And so we all rushed to get to school first so that we would get chosen to be on the kickball team.
Before class started.
Before, so
Got it.
I always got chosen because I was a tomboy.
All right.
And you were good.
That right foot.
And then I got to be May Queen too.
She was. She did both. You were May Queen at Snyder.
She had a-
Snyder. That sounds like the Sweet Home Alabama.
Snyder Elementary
Snyder.
School?
Uh-huh.
So you knew then the stars were the limit at that point.
She had a balanced life.
All right. So how are things at Dreer?
And Hand, we
Hand.
rode our bicycles to school.
God, that's amazing. That's a long way
From
from
Forest Hills?
Hills.
It really is.
It's not. It's
If you
right
cut
down
through,
Maple.
seriously,
Right down Maple.
you know,
Right.
go where Carrie used to live. She lived on King, but if you just cut through and then cut over, Gervais, no.
That was quite a cut through neighborhood, though.
No, no.
No,
You
you
just
cut through.
you went up through Forest Hills and up Maple Street Hill and straight
Straight ahead.
straight to school.
All right.
It
And then
was. I mean, it was fun. And I played football at the park with all the guys.
Did you
And I
really?
could kick it and throw it as good as I could.
That's true.
I grew up in an athletic family.
That's right.
Well,
and so tell us about that athletic family. Because Whitey was
Nani athletic?
Uh-huh.
She was. So
Uh-huh.
she walked all the time, but
A beautiful swimmer. She had the most beautiful stroke I've ever seen.
but Whitey was All-American at Furman.
Mhm. And so for 6 years, he was there at the university.
and he was also in the Furman Football Hall of Fame.
He was in the Furman athletic department.
No, he was he coached at the University of South Carolina.
after he graduated.
Really?
from
He was the
Furman.
offensive coach under Billy LaValle.
And he
Wow, I
also
didn't know
he's
that.
in the Furman Football
Hall
Hall
of
of Fame.
Fame.
There's a
We
big
found
portrait
his
of him.
picture up
Yeah.
there.
But anyway, so we were always at every game. We sat with the cheerleaders.
Every South Carolina game.
Uh-huh.
I'm bringing the
From the
coffee.
time I could walk. Bring me some, Pam.
I am.
We went, and then when we got older, I got to drive the cheerleaders out on the field.
Lord, help us.
Because we had to own a convertible.
great.
Oh,
We did have to
wow.
own a convertible.
The USC cheerleaders?
Uh-huh. And we sat with them and right on the field.
But even when we were coming along, we got to walk down and walk on the field.
Oh, really?
It's changed a lot.
It's gotten more complicated, but it was a fun life. And the group of girls that came from, what's the school that's up in Wells Garden? AC Moore.
Mm-hmm.
The group that came from AC Moore and the group that came from Snyder to to Hand Middle School, we formed, there were 30 of us, and we stayed best friends all through life.
That's
Wow.
amazing.
We spent the night together every Friday night at somebody's house, all 30 of us.
Amazing.
And then now you still have lunch with
Oh yeah, and the ones that left, we still have lunch all the
once a
time.
week.
That's
or-
amazing.
And there like 4 of us within 2 blocks that started in Miss Roy's first grade class.
It's remarkable.
And they
Even-
are still
even
having
now?
lunch.
And we
And
talk
Nina
every
said
day.
she looks the best of all
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
Of
We talk
course.
every day, all day long.
And then tell us about the Razors.
And well, my grandparents lived in Greenville, and they actually lived on the same block as Big Bob Pierce's family in Greenville.
Uh,
So I knew him, growing up,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't quite know color.
But Bob lived
Bob
in
gets one.
in Greenville,
Yeah, they were all. From
but you lived
Greenville.
in Columbia.
Yeah, but my grandparents lived in
Greenville, right?
Yeah,
Because I remember going up there in that house on McDaniel Avenue,
yeah.
that beautiful white house.
They were in
Yeah.
the corner. They were on the brick house.
They owned that whole corner. But my
And he was in
grand-
real estate.
My grandfather and his first cousin developed Alta Vista, which is where they all live, the beautiful section. They
Of
developed
Greenville?
all that.
And see, that's where Bobby's grandparents were.
That's what I
That's what
said.
you're
They,
saying.
they lived on the same block.
and they were.
And that was
you go to get
Pierce,
coffee.
the
Seniors. Yeah,
Pierce
his
seniors.
parents.
Yeah.
Hey, that was really cute.
And isn't that cute? And my grandmother was real, kind of just sort of knew everybody. They had lived on Crescent Avenue. Mother grew up on Crescent, which I think is the prettiest street in America.
In Greenville.
Crescent Avenue in Greenville.
It's really
That's
pretty.
where all the Peace family and the Hips and all those people live. And so when I was about 13, she had a coat party, maybe 12, and invited all the people that lived in that area as children, girls. And they became my friends for life.
See, she being
There
an
were
only child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
You
10 or 12 girls that I stayed best friends with my entire life.
that were in Greenville.
And now all of them have passed away except Louise Quinn.
Mm.
Louise Albright Quinn. And
Hey, Bobby.
Hey.
Leah Falk is going to be here Monday and Tuesday.
who?
Who?
Remember Leah Falk from Greenville? She lives across the
And
street
then
from your.
tell us about
Somebody.
Herbert
But
Bailey.
They had a house at Caesar's Head, my grandparents. So we went up there a lot, and my grandfather would come up on Thursday. The house overlooked the mountain, and the highway. And so he would stop and flash his lights on Thursday night. And
Are you
the
kidding?
maid would put the supper on.
Housekeeper.
Yeah, housekeeper,
Oh,
excuse me,
that's all right.
housekeeper. And come up, and then he'd go back on Monday morning early.
And his
Because it
name
wasn't
his
a
name
church.
was
W. Razor,
W.E. Razor. And her name was
Margaret.
And
Margaret
that's
Razor.
RASOR.
Yeah.
I still have a recording from her,
You
Oh,
do?
you do?
a little cassette tape.
Yeah.
From Mama?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
That's where we got the Mama name.
She said something like, I know that you're going to be something someday or something
Did
like
she
that.
really? Oh,
She
that's
was
sweet.
an amazing woman.
Uh-huh.
She built the first retirement home in Greenville and furnished it.
Eee.
And
Ugh.
never went to live
Easy,
in it.
girl. Easy.
All right, and then Herbert
Right there on
and
Augusta Road.
Herbert Bailey and Joel Allgood. Tell
Yeah.
us
Well,
about.
Joel and Hazel, they didn't live in Greenville,
Okay.
but the Baileys did. He was a doctor, and his daddy was a doctor.
And their relationship was
Married the mother's sister. Thelma Bailey.
Thelma,
Uh-huh.
Kitty's
Yeah. And
sister.
when his father and grandfathers were both doctors in Greenville. And so he decided he didn't want to do that, Herbert. But he went to Davidson. And so he went in business with my grandfather at first.
In real estate?
Wait,
In-
is that
in real estate
Nana's
development.
husband?
Husband. See, he died. One of them died and then she remarried.
No, but this is,
The earlier one.
yeah,
Is this early or later?
no, early.
Okay, right. She was Razor first. Yeah.
Yeah, and he decided that he wanted to go in development with my grandfather. And he did, he started that, and they had one little girl, Betty. And then when
This
he
is
was
Bailey?
like 30 years old, he decided he really did want to go to
Herbert.
medical school.
Really?
So they moved to Charleston, lived in the back of Trad Street.
Really?
Uh-huh. And they had a wonderful time, they said, growing up there.
Hopefully they didn't have quite the wild parties
No, what
Uncle
happened?
Rick had at 86 and a half Church Street.
Sometimes you have
call
to
the
bring it to
po-po
a
on.
close.
Oh, speaking of, we were with Robert Bonner the other night, but we'll go there.
Oh, God,
later.
that feels good. Right
Have to
there.
bring it to a close.
You don't still call the police on your own party.
That night we had to bring it to a close.
Rick was at bed.
That was Hal Morrison.
Because nobody would.
Nobody
That was
would
Hal.
A bunch of people over at his house when he was in medical school, and they wouldn't leave. So he goes upstairs and calls the police, acts like he's a neighbor, going, "There's a wild party going on at 86 and a half Church Street."
I do it too.
It was
It is time
Bobby.
for
It was
bed.
Hal Morrison Stuart Barnwell,
Lordy.
and a couple of those other
Nobody was
renegades.
going anywhere.
And that thing, we were losing control.
At least he knew it.
He knew what to do.
So go ahead. So, all right, so Herbert,
Yeah, so
Herbert
so
goes
they
to
moved
medical school.
Charleston, and he went to medical school.
That's amazing.
And came back, he practiced till he was 85.
that's amazing.
And he always had a smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Just precious.
And then Joel,
Precious. They lived in Liberty, though,
and relationship was,
married to the mother's other sister. And they had
Hazel.
Bill. They had Bill Allgood. They had
who
Bill.
also went into medicine.
Yeah.
And he became a
And He was
pediatric
offered a full Duke scholarship. He graduated #1 in his class
at Clemson.
at Clemson and played football at Clemson.
Wow.
Herbert did?
No,
Bill.
Bill Allgood.
And it was a military school
Oh.
then.
Wow.
And he was an only child, so he decided he was not going to go to Duke. So he went to,
Barn.
oh no, came to Charleston.
Yeah,
And he was #1 down here. And then went to
Barnes Hospital in St.
so
Louis.
smart.
Yeah, he was smart. Went to
Smart.
Barnes Hospital in St. Louis.
Mhm.
Then he ended up being a pediatric oncologist at
Not
Mount
a pediatric, just a regular
Well,
oncologist there.
pediatric oncologist at Mount Palomar Medical Group in San Diego.
Oh,
He went west and never came
I
back.
know, he
Really?
did.
Yes.
That was
That's
awful.
why we
I
don't
felt
want,
so for
you
his
don't want anybody
family.
going west.
Yeah, Richard Nell, I don't know. We better pray against that.
No.
But he went
got to
west
San
and never
Diego.
came back.
See, he was in the
He was in
naval.
San
He
Diego.
was in the naval ROTC.
That's where they
Yeah.
went.
Isn't San
So-
Diego supposed to be one of those cities? It's perfect.
The
year
green
round?
It is.
It's
Oh,
like
it's
75
it's like
degrees.
this.
Is it really?
Never
We
changes.
Well, you
never
know, they
changes?
came here
Oh.
and the Charleston
We're
community
doing
was
San Diego.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Who
why
did?
would you
We
not
don't
go to
bugs.
San Diego?
Bobby,
No,
what
no,
is
no.
it? What's the whole movement of the areas around the world that are designated as blue zones?
What does that mean?
Yeah, so the blue zone guy founder came here to Charleston because he had heard that,
That we might be a blue zone?
that we might be a blue zone, and the community would not support him.
What is a blue
What
zone?
is
What's a blue zone? Thank you.
So a blue zone, they've identified certain areas around the world that provide perfect living habitations for humans.
We
Really?
know that.
And we're glad that
But
they
I
are.
think
think
that's
y'all would have a
why-
hard time finding a place to
I
live.
think that's why the community wouldn't support him, because we've had such an influx of people
From
that,
Spoleto
that,
and all
that
that.
you just
a lot,
they
of,
don't
a lot of
they don't want to
strangers.
bring any other.
I was talking to
Anyway,
urologists.
go ahead.
Tell
I'm
them
getting
that-
totally off
We're
subject.
getting off the subject.
That's
We're doing
right up in here.
so.
up there.
All right, but so Joel, so Herbert Bailey
In Thelma.
and Thelma,
And they
and then
had one
Hazel
child.
and Joel had
Bill.
Bill
And
went
my
west
parents had
and
me, and they just could not believe that anybody would have 3 children. Like when I told them that I was expecting.
Well, I sure am glad you did.
and then
When I told them I was
Really?
expecting the second child, they all went.
but Herbert and Thelma had Betty,
Betty.
and Betty married,
We don't have to be part, but we can listen when we want to.
and they moved to Alabama or Memphis.
Birmingham.
Hey.
How y'all?
Bud, how you doing?
Looks like